What's going on, guys and gals? Steve here for Geek Boulevard. It's time for another movie review. I went to check out Novocaine with Jack Quaid, and I'm here to give you all my thoughts on the movie, the good, the bad, and my final verdict overall. Keep in mind that spoilers will come up later in this review, so for now, you are safe. I'll give you a spoiler warning before that happens, but I've also included timestamps down below, and you can skip the spoiler section to make things a little easier for you. Novocaine is directed by Dan Burke and Robert Olson. It is rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 50 minutes. When the girl of his dreams gets kidnapped, a man turns his inability to feel pain into an unexpected advantage as he fights a bunch of thugs to get her back. Let's get right down to it with the good. I was immediately on board with Jack Quaid's performance as Nathan Kane in this. He really embraces that awkward but really sweet guy persona who kind of lives a very closed off life due to his condition to not feel any pain. Things start, opening up for him romantically when he meets Sherry, played by Amber Midthunder, a new employee at the bank where he's an assistant manager at. And I thought the two of them shared really natural on-screen chemistry. I thought it really worked. Sherry is very much a more adventurous character compared to Nathan, and the way that those two personalities kind of bounce off of each other while being, quite the opposite, was enjoyable to watch. They both have underlying issues in their own way, so they share a bond in that regard. Apparently that bond was so strong for Nathan that when Sherry gets taken as a hostage by some bank robbers, he decides to go after her to save her, not really knowing what the hell he's doing. So, the moments of action that he's pretty much forced into was a good bit of fun to watch. And that's another positive that I want to mention. The action was very, very fun, and there were plenty of sequences that I got a kick out of, like one where Nathan has to kind of fake being in pain. He's being tortured by another character, and he's clearly not doing a good job of faking being tortured. And I think that's a testament to Quaid's performance. He's just so likable in this role. His inability to know how to fight properly or shoot a gun, it made those sequences far more enjoyable than I would have expected going in, since he's not a superhero or an agent of any kind. He's just a guy trying to save a girl that he likes. The film definitely reminds you of that fact. Now, despite the fun action and likable cast and the funny banter that Jack Quaid has with some of the bad guys in this movie, the film does have some issues. So with that being said, let's get into the bad. Mostly the main issue that I have with this film is the fact that the action doesn't really service the story too much. It just seemed like the hook of Nathan's condition was the way into, oh, okay, what's the most screwed up situation that we can put this character through, and then, build the story around that, but also kind of keep it within the budget, because I think the budget for this was about like 18 million. It just felt very mechanical, I guess, in that sense. There's a lot of like rinse and repeat, wherein after Sherry is kidnapped, Nathan gets a clue as to where she might be, goes to that location, gets into a fight. He gets another clue from the person he just fought, goes to another location, gets into a fight. So I think if it wasn't for Jack Quaid's performance being so likable, I probably would write this off as a generic action movie that's, forgettable after a day or so. I want to talk about the ending a little bit and just kind of my overall thoughts on it. So this is going to be your spoiler warning, your official spoiler warning. Feel free to skip this section of the video if you want to preserve your experience with the film. With that out of the way, I want to talk about the revelation of Sherry actually being an accomplice to the robbery, hence why she got the job there, so that she can surveil the place, figure out where all the weak points are, things like that. Not only that, but the point man of the robbery is her own brother, Simon, who is played by Ray Nicholson, clearly having fun on screen with this character. I mean, I can't say I was entirely surprised. It seemed like she was kind of liking him a little too quickly, so I'm like, this doesn't seem very realistic, but this is a movie about a guy who can't feel pain, so how realistic can you really go with it? Most movies don't really surprise me as much anymore when it comes to like big twists, but there were some gasps in the audience when that happened, so it was a little bit of a surprise for some people. One part of Sherry as a character that I didn't quite understand is how self-righteous she kind of gets in one scene where her brother and her are arguing as he's kind of like, pretty nuts. and kills one of the police officers that have been like tracking these guys, well, really tracking Nathan in order to get to the robbers. Nathan makes it there to try to save her and is told by her brother that Sherry basically lied to him and played him this whole time. She argues with her brother to stop killing and that she's not him, like, I'm not a killer. Okay, yeah, you haven't pulled the trigger on previous robberies that, you know, Simon mentions, like, oh, we've killed other people and now all of a sudden you have an issue with it. And then she says, well, I'm not a killer, I'm not you. Yet you surely took part in other robberies with him, and sure, you may not have pulled the trigger, like I said, but you were complicit in other deaths and did nothing to stop it. So how does that make you any better than him? And Simon doesn't even retort with any kind of statement like that in mind. He just kind of runs away at the end of that scene in order to get away from the cops. Also, the ending of Nathan visiting Sherry in prison after 1 year passes, still happily in love with her and counting down the days until she's finally released. Look, a lot can happen in a year off screen, of course. So maybe they worked out those issues, but I don't know if it's healthy to be with someone like that. You know, she lied to you about who she was, got your boss killed in a robbery. You put your body through hell trying to save her, thinking she was in trouble, only for it to really be for nothing because she was involved in it the entire time. But hey, love conquers all, I guess. To wrap it all up, I'm giving Novocaine a score of 3 out of 5. Novocaine has likable performances and chemistry from Jack Quaid and Amber Midthunder, and fun popcorn action set pieces that are elevated above average due to Jack Quaid's funny banter during those action-heavy moments. However, the action comes across as the focal point rather than the accessory, as the film falters a bit in service of the gimmick of Nathan's condition. Like I said, it's not a bad movie by any means, but when you have like a hook like that with the main character, you kind of just start thinking of things to make that gimmick kind of stand out more, and then the story kind of takes a back seat, the characters kind of take a back seat. So that's something that I was kind of worried about going in, and it seemed like that's pretty much what ended up happening. So I was a little disappointed with that. But I want to know what you guys thought of Novocaine. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. And remember to like the video if you enjoyed, and sub to the channel, tick the bell so you can always be notified when new content drops on the Geek Boulevard channel. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Stay classy, stay geeky, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Oh, no, stop it. Oh! Wow, that hurt. That one hurt the most.
How you like?
Novocaine? It is you! I thought you'd be dead by now.
Well, I'm not.
It's fucking Novocaine! And he's not fucking dead!